I am truly amazed at this point in my life. It's been almost 12 months traveling, lots of time by myself, a lot. And I'm hitting that weird point. Island fever, I don't know what it's called, but it's something where when you have this much time to yourself, it's pointless. Everything seems pointless. For me to continue doing YouTube videos, I'm losing interest. I really am. This is wax I've spilled on my coat here. Light the candle, keeps the bugs away. Although tonight it's starting to cool off, so we don't have as much of a bug problem here. But it's a really interesting point to be at right now. It's fascinating. I've been here before. This is the point where most people would struggle. And because everything just kind of blends in. It's like this, just everything, your past, your future, your present. And when you isolate yourself like I have away from people, friends, family, stuff like that, you pretty much die to them. You really do. And it's just it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's some awful thing. It's you're not in the machine. You're not trying to achieve goals. You're not networking. You're not planning holidays together, stuff like that. And, I look what I have. This RV is really cool. And the bike and, stuff like that. And I've been using this stuff for entertainment purposes only. And it's really important to go through this, I think, especially if you're seeking what I'm seeking. You have to go through these like you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. You're forgotten. That sounds negative, but it's just true. It's not negative. It's just you phase out, you unplug. You become less on somebody's radar. You're not trying to do something with them, whether it's a business together or laugh together, cut loose together, holidays together, And so you hit this weird point, and this is very necessary. I know it doesn't seem like it should be, but it is. For years up in Tibet, you had the famous Dalai Lama, the temple up there. Beautiful. Always wanted to see it. And it was shut down by the Chinese government when they came after Dalai Lama. Made them run from the country. Now they're in India. Otherwise, they were going to kill them. And they killed several monks. And a couple of famous monks traveled with him. There's a whole documentary on it. I think there's a movie on it. And I can't remember how many days. Look it up. It's a true story. It took, 45 days. I can't remember, 2 months to run from China and get out of Tibet into India, where he's been safe for many, many years. And there was just a handful of monks that traveled with him. And when they got to India in a safe zone, some of them spread out throughout the world. And there was a prediction by, I think it was Nostradamus, actually, said that the world will change when metal birds are flying. I can't remember it specifically, but some of you philosophers that know this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure it was Nostradamus. And it was something like, I can't remember, I read it a long time ago. When the metal birds fly, wisdom will spread like ants across the world, something like that. And I'm not going to edit this and find it and stuff like that. I'm just speaking completely randomly. And it's tied into when the monks left Tibet. And several of them scattered across the world. They did. And one monk, and I'm just so bad with names. I mean, I hate, it just, ever since I shut my business down, the big business, and I shut it down in 99. We were in a direct sales company. I owned a direct sales company, and it was really important to remember names. And I was in the seminar business, and remembering names is really important. The gift of gab, using cognitive psychology, NLP, all this stuff, all these techniques that you need to master the profession of sales. It's not just a blabber mouth that, in fact, blabbermouths do horribly. Yeah. But since I shut that business down, I burned all my suits and said I'll never return to that because I mastered it. I mastered that level. I've been horrible with names ever since. Completely horrible with names. Like, I will not remember your name until we meet a few times, And then when I see the bond, then I'll remember your name. So I'm just really bad with names. And I'm not the best documentary, film, whatever. It's like even, not talking for a living for so many years, even like right now, I just, the words just like, get all this stuff going through my head. And it's weird. 17 years sitting behind a camera on YouTube. Still to this day, I've got stuff running so fast through my head that I want to say, and I'm having to sort through it. And so, what was I saying? I forget names. But one of the monks, he was very famous. You can find him on YouTube. He ended up in California. And this guy was a partier. He drank a lot, slept with women, and was still highly respected as a Tibetan monk that came out of this exotic place at the time where, you had to hike up there to seek wisdom. You weren't going to get it down here in civilization. You had to go way up in these Himalayan mountains, and if you're seeking enlightenment and some words of wisdom, that's where the monks lived. And this one monk, forgot his name. If you know what it is, put a comment down below. And there are YouTube videos with him back in these days, like the 40s or 50s, somewhere around there. He ended up wearing a suit and partied and drank, and he actually died of alcoholism. But he made a movement on people. He really had something very important to share, and I think he actually stated something along the lines of, when in Rome, you do. So in California, party, LA, party capital of Oregon, or not Oregon, the United States, one of them. He still shared the wisdom and the knowledge, even though he adapted and became his surroundings, which took his life. But there used to be Sufis, yogis, not yogas, that lived in the caves outside of the temple up in Tibet, beautiful temple. And these yogis would sit in these caves for not days, not weeks, not months, years. And people would bring food up to them, and they would isolate themselves in these caves until they reached past the crazy point. And I think this monk was one of them, if I remember correctly. Way before he ended up in LA. And you go through this point, however long it takes, this like craziness where your mind is like, the way Mooji puts it, I love Mooji to this day. If you don't know who he is, look him up, Mooji. He's got some wisdom. And in fact, he learned, his teacher was, what's his name? Not Deepak Chopra, it's not him, no. Papaji. Great teacher, respected in the United States, Western civilization. You have to understand these people, when they reach that level, they're not talking about metaphysics. In fact, they avoid talking about it. And they're anti-serial spiritualists, the hippies that travel all over the place, and which I went through at a certain point. And then, so when I say in my previous videos, which you've watched, that I'm seeking enlightenment, the very fact that I'm seeking prevents it. And so, it's the truth. It's always right there. The mind can't wrap itself around it. And these yogis, years, 5, 10, 20 years, people would bring food up to them. And we're talking winter, below, 30, 40, below zero. And they would sit by themselves for this long until they got through the Plato's cave in their head. And if you know what that is, Plato's cave, the analogy of the Plato's cave. Look that up online. The allegory of Plato's cave, where Plato was talking to Socrates about this, and it's really relevant. We're talking years BC, before Christ. And it talks about people who were raised in a cave, and they're chained to the rocks, and they're looking at this wall. And behind them is a fire, and it's real bright, and there's people that they can't look back at, and they're taking images and casting shadows from the fire onto the cave wall in front of them. So they're watching these images just dance in front of them, for years and years and years. And one person's like thinking about this situation. He's in a space of contemplating what am I seeing in front of me. And so he somehow is able to turn around, and he sees the fire and people like making shadow images on this wall that's in front of him. And he looks at everybody and goes, "Hey, you guys notice what's going on behind us?" And they're like, "Shut up, dude. Don't even go there." And he tried to look back, and he was no longer entertained by these shadow images in the wall. He now has questions. And so he grabs a rock and he breaks the chains, and he escapes out of the cave. And as he's escaping out of the cave, the sunlight is coming through the cave as he's going through. It's so bright, it's blinding him. And of course, he's tripping and falling on these rocks. He can't see, trying to crawl out of the cave, but he's so compelled to see the truth. He's just stumbling and getting cut and bruised. And he finally gets out of the cave, and he walks into the real world. And his eyes adjust, and he sees life, real life. And enlightenment. And he sees the truth, and his energy is like, oh my gosh, I want to share this with everybody. Hey, everybody. So he runs back into the cave, and he's like, hey, everybody, this light over here, there's like something, there's like real life out there, and they're all mad at him. And because they're like, shut up, dude, we've heard about it, it's bullshit, it's a conspiracy theory, it's just woo-woo world. And the more he tries to convince them of freeing themselves from their chains and looking at this wall, they get more upset with him, and then the people behind with the imaging stuff literally want to kill him. And some of the people want to kill him. And so the barrier of truth is now violating belief. And so, long story short, he goes out by himself into the cave, goes into the real world. And it's a lone journey. It's not a lonely journey. It's, you have to do this by yourself. There's nobody who can help you with this. And then there's a book out, same concept, same thing, called Illusions. And the first part of the book talks about these people that live in a river, fast-moving river, and they hang on to rocks. And so for generations and generations, they would just hang on to these rocks into the water in a river. And one day, one of them had a question. He's like, where's that lake coming from? What, and, hey guys, have you ever, questioned what are we doing here? And no, we don't do that. Dude, just don't even go there. It's crazy. People have done that and they've died, and you need to pay attention. And so he tried to reconform, but now the curiosity is much stronger than what he's been born into. And so he let goes of the rocks, and he's now at the flow of the current of the river, life. And as he's trying to gain his awareness, he's getting tumbled, and rocks are beating him up. He's just getting torn and beaten. And he finally hits a shallow, slow part of the river, and for the first time ever, he sticks his head up out of the river. He's like, what? And he sees real life. And then he walks out of the river, and he's seeing the sunlight and trees and the oxygen and just this whole weird world that he could see in the corner of his eyes. But now he's witnessing what everybody said don't do, because most people supposedly died in the current of the river. So he walks up the river excited to go down and look at his people in the river and wave at them, and he's throwing rocks down there, and they're looking up going, oh my God. He's a god. He became a god. And he tried to flag him up, and they're like, no. So he saw real life, the source of life, the light of life, the truth, the absolute truth. And so there is a matrix in life. It's, the movie The Matrix was a documentary film to a certain degree. And so my point of bringing this up is you're going to go through some turmoils, you're going to get beat up, and it's a very alone journey. And what keeps people from actually going through the journey is the fear of being lonely. I've given up at this point many times in my life, and I've gone back into civilization and plugged back in and go, yeah, what was I thinking? It was crazy, you're right. Walk back into the cave, get back in the river, because that's home. And equate myself back into it, recuff myself and go, what was I thinking? Plug back into the GOB, the system, the matrix, And it's funny when I talk to people about this, on the phone, they call me up, and I know they're watching my videos, they tell me they are, and they don't really know me. I have this innate ability to just humble myself and pick on myself and go, oh, I know you're watching my videos, and they'll even say, no, it's fascinating. Some of the stuff you're saying, I know, but it's all good. Sometimes I make a video and I don't feel good about it. But, that's, I've been humbled by this. I used to have a lot more confidence, a lot more ethos into these type of discussions, but I've been so ridiculed and beat up. And I wasn't willing to go through that because I'm at the mercy of the human species and an income in the system to continue existing comfortably. And I've even sacrificed myself to try to live at least a middle class life, to have above and beyond the normal and take care of my bills and everything's fine. It just never worked out that way for me, ever, with any consistency, which a lot of people are going to go through. And there are a lot of people going through it right now. So this lostness I feel, and I'm just being honest, I can't think of a different word. There's a side of me that wants to continue to entertain, even though it's not doing anything. I mean, it's not viral in any shape or form. And it's probably a good thing. Probably is. Just make videos on motorcycles and adventure traveling. Don't get into all this stuff. And it's like, I can't do that. I didn't make these videos and this whole channel just to talk about motorcycles and traveling. I've been doing this my whole life, traveling. I've seen stuff all over this world. I've met fascinating people all over this world, not normal people, down to the boredom of middle class for me. It's a shame because I tried to, what's so bad about it? There's nothing bad about middle class. There's nothing. It's not that awful. I tried to adapt to that way of life, but I laid off constantly. It was like some dynamics is working way beyond me, which as stated before, I'm grateful for, because I'm in the drink. I'm on the adventure. I'm sitting here for days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks. Really no one to have these conversations with. And then I deplatform myself. When people call me up or I talk, they're watching my videos, they don't know me very well, and I am quick to laugh at myself and go, just forget my videos, it's all good. And I don't think people really appreciate why I do that, because I'm supposed to have this weird confidence in what I'm saying, like a lot of content creators and authors and seminar people can cockily, if that's a word, I don't think it is, talk about it with this I mean it, and it's like, well, we're talking about beliefs, and you're talking about not believing in anything and just be here in the present moment. But isn't that also a belief? It's very Zen. I'm at the Zen point now. Zen makes everything contradicting. It makes a joke of everything we've been trying to study. Zen is, when you reach the Zen point, your chi or whatever, whatever you want to call it. There's so many stupid old names for it. You're born, it's the mountains, the trees, the clouds, the sky, and you just see it for what it is, and then we see it every day, and then we find analogies in it. We find meaning in it, and so we tear this thing apart, and we tear it apart and break it in pieces, and tree, here it is, it means this, tree of life, and your family, the sky is openness, but, and the spiritual people find all these meanings in it, earth, wind, sky, fire, blah, blah, blah. This is the dawning of the age of, sing songs about, and create videos and write books and all these things. And the art of Zen is to, after you're done breaking reality apart, what just is, you slap it back together, because it's no longer, these pieces are no longer entertaining you. You've just studied it so much, you made it such a big deal that you put the mountains and the trees and the sky and everything back together, and then you return to It's just the mountains, the trees, the clouds, and the sky. Why isn't that magical enough? So I'm at that point, and I'm documenting. I didn't think I'd make a video tonight at all. I mean, just didn't prepare everything for it. So I'm at the weird point. Muji calls it when the lion bites your head off. And I fully get this. And it's a point where it takes everything, and just everything is spinning: your past, your future, the present moment. What are you going to do? Where did you come from? History pops in. It's like little windows. Here's this, and I'll be making a salad inside, and all of a sudden I'll stop and go, God, oh my God, I can't believe I did that when I was younger. Oh, God. This stuff comes out of nowhere, and these people that are young, that are all woke and videoing themselves freaking out on camera, they're going to look at this 2 years from now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now and go, oh my God, I was a stupid kid. I was so stupid. What was I thinking? We didn't have this, my generation. We didn't have these video cameras and the internet to record this stuff. So I see technology is really a wonderful tool for evolution. It really is. It's like something is going, nature and technology is like, no, wait a minute. We're going to create something we're going to document it even clearer for you so you can look back at it and see how dumb you were and never forget it. And we spread it around the world, and it's caused you to lose jobs, not get jobs. It's hurt your relationship, it's like all this stuff. Crazy, built for this, really built for this. People talk about technologies that were working against us. Maybe there's aliens or something that the elites are working with to try to control us, but maybe the superior intelligence of the universe is actually making the elites think it's designed to help them control. But really it isn't. Really it isn't. It's designed to liberate us more and more. There's such a yin and yang, light, dark energy that's just doing this constantly, right? And I learned in my time meditating up in the mountains for that year that this yin and yang thing going on, it's not who you are. It's the roller coaster ride. You start off young and your emotions are like mountain peaks and canyons, and then you get older and it's like little peaks and valleys. And then the wise ones find the smooth ground, which can become boring, feels purposeless. But the very fact that I'm okay, why is that a problem? To just multiple days see there's no drama in my life. Multiple days. In the human mind, this parasite, this parasitic thing called thinking, wants to create some drama, but I'm not turned on to it anymore. There's nothing. And so it sounds awful to the emotional entity. The emotional mind sounds awful to reach a point where hundreds of millions, if not billions, no longer excites you. Being an ex-player, God, many years ago, it's a nightmare. It's unhealthy. It's disgusting. And then even to reach a point where I'm at, where the idea of a wife and to me, I know this really doesn't rub with a lot of you, and maybe you're not watching the right channel. Sounds like 100 steps backwards to me. There's nothing wrong with it. I went through it. But when you get to this point where this existence I'm in right now, these beautiful lights, the motorcycle, is the biggest illusion possible. I have to watch other adventure motorcycle videos to get me excited about riding this thing. And then I have to watch other YouTube content creators to go, well, I can do that, and maybe I can even do better. It's like I see how the character that we're developing back in my businessman days, and I played that character well. Oh my God, I played him well. The Armanis and the Hugo Bosses and the gold and exotic cars and, you know, the language, and speak eloquently and full of energy, and, you know, which I can't really do as well now, you know. Working out, looking good, tanning, manicures, pedicures, starch shirts, you know. And I'm in this weird place. No drugs needed. Nothing. No shrooms, no acid, no DMT. I'm seeing the redundancy of that life. And it's trying to pull me in. You know, it's trying to, it sounds so nice, you know. Okay, you're done being an adventure guy. You pissed all your money away. It's all gone, you know, almost all. It's been a fortune most people only dream of. 20 some years ago, I was a player, slept with a lot of women, 3 women in a hot tub at once. Well, a lot of people dream of that, never did that. Now it's, to me, it's like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. I was trying to impress. And now here we are. I'm aware of my age, and I'm not in that algorithm of cool that I was in and out of most of my life. Nobody cares. And don't take that wrong. Don't take it like that. I'm sitting here going, oh, nobody cares. It's not what I'm saying. It's exactly what I want. Is not be influenced that way. I wanted this time and space to see the redundancy in a world lacking drama. Every day, it's okay. Every day. In fact, some might call it boring. And boredom is your fault. And boredom needs to be investigated. You need to swim into the quiet pool of boredom. Perfect temperature, perfect everything, swim, you just keep swimming and swimming. It's like a desert for 40 years. Searching for emotion, searching for drama. And every day you wake up and it's like, no. It's still just okay. And I'm in the weird place now. It's like, maybe I don't want it to be just okay. Why isn't anybody calling me and saying, I need you? Oh my God. When is my past going to rise up from the surface and go, Rob was this and that, and he was this and that, and he has this and that, and he's not owning up to it. And I think about that, it's like, yeah, do I really want that to show up again? Well, I need to quit making videos because it might become viral. It might be, my channel might become big talking about, I doubt it. I have no evidence of that. And if I became famous as a content creator, oh, I'm going to get some calls from my past. I already know that. But I also know how to deal with them. So, 34 minutes. I can never keep these short. I never plan on recording tonight. I had the gentleman that owns this property call me up, I paid in another month. I'm here, until the end of October at least. And we had a great talk. He's wonderful. I enjoy him. He's a friend to me. And he watches my videos, and he's going through some, issues in life himself. And I feel he's just a good man, good people, both him and his wife. Wonderful, his daughter who's reached out to me and, the channel. And I feel this embarrassment whenever they don't really know me, and they watch my videos and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And people tell me, you just have a lack of confidence in what you're saying. And it's like, or even my paintings. And I'm like, yeah, I've had my ass kicked. I don't want to be bothered. I'm more willing to make fun of myself about these type of videos, my paintings, my studies of trains, and the books I've written, to just not talk about it. Because I'd really like to just hang out with you in that moment and let's kid about the present moment versus my little weird stuff I've added. I'm not trying to win people that way. I'm trying to get people to, I'm trying to connect with people that want to pull this out of me as I want you, or I want to pull it out of you. I want to meet people that are pulling this energy out of each other that's positive, that's uplifting, inspirational, and completely aware of the matrix we've existed in and won out. Yeah, that's all I have to say. All right.